we will be on the record in State of Kansas versus Isiaha S. Kirvin, County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state. Am I saying that correctly? Is it pronounced Kirvin?
Yes, Kirvin, ma'am. That's your honor.
Thank you. Mr. Kirvin, you're here on, it looks like one count alleging that you were driving without a license. But if your record's in pretty good shape, this is probably one that could be diverted and you could have the state dismiss it. Ms. Gillette, anything you see that would keep him from being diverted?
I can't think of anything, no.
All right, so Mr. Kirvin, if you're interested, you could fill out their application and get the diversion where if you paid a fine, costs, and got your license in order, they could dismiss the charge against you. Would you be interested in that?
I don't really use a license because I travel. A license for people who drive, like for occupational drivers, like truck drivers, Uber drivers, and I was just traveling on the road. If I sign up for a license, I would have to get a contract with you guys. I don't want to wish to enter any contracts.
So you're saying you intentionally drive?
No, I travel. I don't drive. Yeah, I don't drive. I travel.
You travel behind the wheel of an automobile?
I travel in my car, in my vehicle, my own motor conveyance vehicle.
Do you travel behind the automobile controlling the movement of the car?
I travel in the vehicle.
You start the engine, you put your foot on the brake and the pedal and steer.
It's a vehicle. I travel in the vehicle, man.
Well, you call that traveling. Traveling's a big, broad term, but that the specific term for that is driving.
Boom. Roasted.
Are you interested in the diversion, getting this dismissed?
I'm not sure. Diversion is a contract, or is that a contract or something like that?
Diversion does require a contract. It requires an agreement. You have to agree with Ms. Gillette that you'll get your license and that you'll pay your fine and costs, and then she'll dismiss the case. Are you interested in that?
How long would I have to get my license?
Ms. Gillette, how long do you usually give them to get their license once they take diversion?
I require that they get their license current before entering into the contract to show me a copy of it.
Okay.
Then we verify that with their state and or.
Okay. How much time do you think you might need, Mr. Kirvin? Sometimes we can continue the matter to let you have a little time to do that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about getting a license. Like I said, I don't want to do contracts. I might have to do a trial if that's okay.
Okay. If you want a trial, you're sure welcome to it. Do you want a jury trial or a trial to the bench, to the court?
A trial to jury by my peers.
Trial with jury of your peers. Okay. We will set that for February. You'll need to be back here, first of all, for a pre-trial conference, February 5th, 2024 at 9 a.m.
Can we do it after the 10th? Because I work out of town a lot. My last day at work, I'll be back in town on the 10th, that week of the 10th.
I'm sorry, sir. The chief judge just gives me one day every so often, and that's the only one he's given me is February 5th. Now, that one will be by Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But then the trial itself will be February 7 and 8. So does that help you? That has to be in person.
That's in person. Because I live in Texas. That's why I say I work out of town a lot. And I'm not sure, because I know I'm going to go back to work I'm out of town right now. I'm going to go back on the 29th until the 10th. And that's going to be like in between those work days. That's why I was asking if I can do any day after that. It's fine. Or even in January, I'm free. This is my last weekend. I'll be free on Friday and up until the 29th. So I'm all free all January.
I wish I could tell you differently, but I'm going to have to set it for pre-trial February 5th by Zoom. And then I suppose we can look at it again. If you need a continuance at that time, we can look at it.
Okay.
But if you're wanting a jury trial, I'm going to have to set it for February 7 and 8. You'll have to be here in person.
In Kansas?
In Eureka, Greenwood County, Kansas. Okay. February 7 and 8, starting at 9 a.m. And then your pretrial conference is February 5th at 9 a.m. by Zoom.
Okay. Will I have to wait to get closer to that time? Because I know for sure I probably will be at work. I already have my schedule for February.
Well, what I have is a docket that day where I have a number of cases set for jury trial, but obviously only one will go. So that's when we decide on February 5th, which one is the case that gets to go on the 7th.
Okay.
If you don't go on the 7th, then Chief Judge will give me a different date later to put them on.
Judge,
So
we'll
it's
need,
kind, yes,
we'll need
Mr.
a request in writing.
Yes, and if you want a jury trial, the request does have to be in writing, Mr. Kirvin.
And
You
how do I
file
do
with the clerk. You file with the clerk of the district court. Well, that leads me to the next point of business. Typically, people have their attorney do all of this. You're welcome to hire any attorney of your choice. If you do not want an attorney, if you do not want to hire an attorney or you're unable to hire an attorney, you can apply for a court-appointed attorney. And if you qualify, then one will be appointed, and your attorney, whether you hire them or appoint them, can take care of all of this for you and work with you on it. Of course, you do have the right to waive counsel and represent yourself. But do you want an attorney to maybe help answer those questions?
No, at the time I'm okay right now, but hold on a second. Right now, I'm gonna do a per se right now. If I need to, if I have a guy that
I'm
can ask
sorry,
questions about.
sir. I think I have my volume all the way up, but I'm not hearing you very well.
No, not at the moment. I don't need an attorney.
You don't want an attorney? You wish to waive your right to an attorney?
No, I don't wish to waive I won't wish to waive any rights. I'm just saying at the moment, I'm not
Well,
requesting one.
you can't do it both ways. You either waive your right to an attorney or you have an attorney.
No, I don't have an attorney. I'll go pro se.
You're going to go pro se. In other words, you're waiving your right to an attorney.
Yeah, that's
Is
fine.
anyone making you go pro se without an attorney by any kind of force or threat?
No.
And you understand that you can hire an attorney or apply for court appointed if you wish. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I'll have the record show that at least for now, you're knowingly and voluntarily waiving your right or exercising your right to represent yourself. And we've got a jury trial set. And I am receipt in multiple pages of a document called Notice of Special Appearance by Affidavit. I have gone through that, and at this time, I am finding that I do have jurisdiction. And Mr. Kirvin, is there anything else that we need to address before we adjourn for the day?
Yeah, she said I had to do it and write it, so I will have to come to Kansas and get a writing, or is there, what do you mean by
No,
I live in Texas?
Yeah, you can send it up from Texas.
Like through email?
Normally we would have you electronically file it, but we had some malware hostage of our computer files across the state. And it's been a slow process getting back to where we need to be, and we're not there yet. So contact the clerk, and she can tell you how to fax it or email it or put it in the regular mail. Missy, what's the clerk's number? You know how you filed this document for today?
Yes, ma'am.
That you'll do it the same way. However you did this one, you got this one to the clerk. So however you did that, it's called the demand for jury trial. So if you're going to represent yourself, though, you are required to know how to do it.
Okay.
So, you don't want to shortchange yourself by not knowing the legal process. So if you decide you want an attorney, either hire one or contact the court to apply for one.
Okay.
All right. Okay. If there's nothing further, we're in recess. Mr. Kirvin is excused.
Thank you.
You may go, sir.
Over 1 month later.
We're going to go on the record in 2023 TR 300060, State of Kansas versus Isiaha F. Kirvin. Greenwood County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state, and Mr. Kirvin in person and pro se. Mr. Kirvin, you had previously waived an attorney on the record. I don't believe you reduced that to writing. Are you on your way to the courthouse by chance?
No, I'm doing it for my phone. I live in Texas.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I don't believe I saw a written demand in jury trial, but again, when you were here in December, you said you wanted a jury trial. Are you still wanting a jury trial, or do you want to try to work with the county attorney to see if you have an agreed upon resolution?
well, first I still like to challenge jurisdiction. That's why I put in my special appearance. I would like to challenge jurisdiction first. There's some questions I'd like to have you answered before I get to that
All
point.
right, sir. Well, if we're going to get into all of that, I'm going to put you a little further in the docket. I'm going to talk to some of these others that we can deal with a little quicker. So I'm going to recess the Kirvin matter, sir. At this time, you're to stick around.
I do have a question about that because I have something to do about later as well. Is there a time sometimes I could be back on time? I can't be on the phone while I'm waiting. I could be on. I took this time out to do it. So is there like a time you might have for me?
Oh, Miss Shirley or Miss Gillette, what did you say? 10 o'clock, 10:30?
Probably. I have hearings at 9:30, 10, and 11. The only times I have available are like around 10:30.
Okay.
If we need to take up something this afternoon, I'm available this afternoon.
That'll be fine. That'll be better for me as well. I'll be more available, more free in the afternoon as well.
Well, let me see what's going on. I had planned to be in another situation at that time, but I think I'm going to probably be here. So, all right, we will continue. We'll just recess this until 1:30. Missy, will that work? Because he's going to have jurisdiction motions but you haven't even. But you better get something in writing for a jury trial, sir, because you're really out of time.
I put an email that I don't know if this is the same lady, but I sent the email the same day. Or you didn't get the email? Well,
emails are not legal documents. You have to file documents with the clerk of the district court. So this will give you some, sir, I've got like about 40 cases on here today, and I know you're going to want a lot of individual time. So let's take it up at 1:30 today, all of that. And you make sure you've got all your legal documents filed with the clerk of the district court if you want them to be heard.
Okay, and that's Missy?
No. Missy is my assistant. Missy, can you give him the clerk of the district court's number? Now they can't do them by telephone. You're going to have to call them and ask them how you have to file a document. If you're going to represent yourself, sir, you're required by law to the same standards as if you had an attorney as far as procedures and things of that sort. Are you hearing me, Mr. Kirvin?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just going to pen out. I'm just going to something to write with.
All right. Mr. Kirvin is excused until 1:30. As we'll be in recess on his case.
3 hours later.
Continue from Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution.
All right, we will go on the record now in the 13th Judicial District, the District Court of Greenwood County, Kansas. This is case number 2023 TR3 00060, State of Kansas versus Isiaha S. Kirvin. This is a continuance of the hearing called earlier on the 9 o'clock docket. Now then, Jill Gillette, County Attorney, appears for the state, and the defendant, Isiaha Kirvin, appears in person and pro se. This is the pretrial hearing. There is one count of operating a motor vehicle without a valid license. Now, that seems to the court to be you either had a license or you didn't. Of course, the burden would be on the state to show there was no license. Mr. Kirvin, are you challenging that? Are you saying you did have a valid license?
No, I had a question before that about the jurisdiction. I was challenging jurisdiction because I had a question about that.
Okay.
I wanted to know the cause and nature of what's bringing the suit against you. So I really didn't understand.
All right. Well, the people of Kansas, as you probably know, get together ever so often and have elections to elect people to represent them in Topeka, the state capital, and those legislators pass laws that are for the good of all of us in theory, maybe in practice, and then we are to follow those laws. One of the laws at some point in time that those legislators made was that if we are going to operate a motor vehicle in Kansas, we have to have a valid driver's license. And if you do not have a valid driver's license when driving the automobile, it is to be treated as a Class B non-person misdemeanor. And they set the penalties of up to 6 months in the county jail and a $1,000 fine. So the authority comes from the people of the state of Kansas that pass the laws through their elected representatives. They also pass laws to have judges, and I'm one of those judges that presides over these type of cases. They also passed the law that you can't have a jury trial for this type of offense. And so that's the authority, that's the nature of it. It's a traffic case, but it's also designated a criminal case, a B misdemeanor. So does that help you with your question, sir, or is there something else we need to address?
Well, yes, I have another question. When you say it's been a criminal, would that it gives the court 2 ways? Sixth Amendment actually gives the court 2 ways to do it. They can do it through like either like common law or is it colorable maritime admiralty law?
No, it doesn't say that.
Which one am I want to be tried under? What jurisdiction?
This is neither common law nor admiralty law. This is criminal law under the Constitution of the state of Kansas, as affected by case law and federal law, of course.
So it's neither common nor color.
That is correct. That is correct.
So which one? What am I going to be tried under? What jurisdiction I fall under so I can properly move and so I can understand how to defend myself?
You're being tried under the criminal jurisdiction of the Kansas statutes.
But under the Constitution, it grants you only 2, and it has 2 criminal matters. One has to be common law, the other has to be the maritime admiralty.
Ms. Gillette, do you wish to be heard in response? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out.
Judge, this is basically kind of more of a statutory violation. This defendant, when you enter into the state of Kansas, you consent to the laws of Kansas when you drive upon the highways. The interstate compact between all of the states that are members of the interstate compact for traffic infractions means that when you consent to the laws of your state, or you drive upon or travel upon the roads of Kansas, Oklahoma, any of the states that are part of the compact, you consent to those laws when you enter into that state. So with the interstate compact, he would be consenting to the laws of the state of Kansas the moment he drives across the border. That law becomes effectual upon you, and it's your responsibility. It's akin as when you have a concealed carry. If you carry in Kansas and you have your concealed carry, it's your responsibility to know which receiving reciprocative of your concealed carry permit. If that state isn't reciprocative, then you cannot do it within that state. So when you become a licensed driver, or you have a license, or you become a driver and you're driving, then you are consenting to the laws of that state that you are traveling within. So jurisdiction is set up, as the judge said, by the Constitution of the state of Kansas and the laws of the legislature that are passed statutorily. And our statutes are passed with the law in this case. I would note for the record, Judge, that there is still no things on Odyssey for me to see. There's not a written request for jury trial. There's no motions to be heard today. I cannot respond to any motions because there's none on file.
Well, that's
Therefore,
because I'm asking
if
questions
he
right now.
is going, if he is going to file anything of record for me to respond to, he would need to have his filings on file at least 7 days advance of a hearing for me to respond, and that there is no proper written request for a jury trial at this time. Therefore, this case could go to bench trial on Wednesday, and we would not have to have a jury present due to the fact that there is a lack of request for jury trial. And if there is no written request for jury trial, the case goes to bench trial.
Miss Gillette, we just had this exact issue on not filing a demand for jury trial in a Butler County case right before the lunch hour. Mr. Patterson presented 19 Canap 2nd 982, State of Kansas versus Gardner L. Jones III. Jones raised two issues on appeal: whether the district court abused its discretion by denying his request for jury trial, and whether the district court erred in denying his motion for setting an appeal bond. Well, I have not had time to read that case over the lunch hour, which began at 1 o'clock today because we ran so late this morning. But Mr. Patterson, as an office of the court, informs me that in a case like this, even though the statute of Kansas is very clear that you are to put your demand for jury trial in writing, case law says you don't have to because of your constitutional right.
I haven't had time to research it or read it, Judge. I don't have any kind of written request or motions, and I would have to take time to also read the case.
Sure.
And see if it's distinguished, if there's different issues. But he's wanting to argue jurisdiction, dismissal motions, and all kinds of motions. There's nothing before the court in writing for me to respond to. I don't know what he's going to say. So one of our other pro se individuals had written several motions. Most were very lacking, but at least I had something to respond to. In this case, under the laws and Constitution of Kansas, you submit when you come into our jurisdiction. Therefore, when he traveled into Kansas and operated a motor vehicle, he consented to the laws and jurisdiction of Kansas. And I would say that we have jurisdiction, and that lack of venue and jurisdiction is denied, should be denied.
I had a question about that, because when you say that I consented, there like a form, would that would that be under? That would be civil? Would
Sir,
that be like
you consented by your conduct of going onto a road that is a state of Kansas highway and a.
So which jurisdiction would be under? Like, would that be like maritime, like as a
Sir,
contract?
I've answered that question to you, and you got on the road and you consented to driving on the road, and therefore you did consent to laws associated with driving. So I am going to hold you to the law in this particular case. Now,
what I'm understanding when you say, like, when you said the cause of nature, and but that's why I was not understanding still about that, because you said the cause of nature, and I asked.
Sir, if you want me to entertain any of your arguments, you need to have them well thought out, and you need to have them in writing, and you need to have them, sir, listen to me, please. You need to have them in writing. You need to have them filed with the court. You need to give copies and notice to Miss Gillette so she can have an opportunity to respond. And I'm not going to entertain this process throughout the proceedings where you come in and you just start saying things.
I have a question.
Things that you may have picked up here or there on the internet or by other people. I don't know where you get some of this stuff, but it is very common for people, certain individuals, to come in and start repeating some of this stuff that so far I haven't heard anything that has merit. These arguments are, well, you're either maritime or you're common law. that's not going to carry weight with me. You're going to have to give me something that tells me I have to follow those arguments, because I think you're misstating the law. So by now, you should have had all your motions on file. We're ready.
Maybe you misunderstood
Sir,
what I was
please
asking.
don't interrupt me.
I still had a question.
Sir,
when you're done.
stop and listen to me. If you want a jury trial, I will make sure you have a jury trial. If you want to represent, sir, stop interrupting me. If you want a jury trial, I will make sure you have a jury trial. If you want an attorney, I'll make sure you have an attorney to help you. But if you're going to do this on your own, you need to know what you're doing, and you need to follow the law just as an attorney would be expected to. But you're not going to come in here and just start saying things, and I'll answer questions as long as they're legitimate questions. So at this point, I'll ask you once again, are you sure you don't want an attorney to help you, someone who is trained in the law? Because this, sir, is a court of law, and if you don't have the benefit of knowing the law, you're going to be disadvantaged.
Well, before I move forward, I had questions before I move forward. That's why I was asking to understand it. I often understand this.
Well, I can't aid you in the unauthorized practice of law. I cannot.
No, I'm not asking. I'm not asking for legal advice. I'm asking for your legal intent. What am I going to? What do you intend to be tried me? Which jurisdiction? That's why I'm asking if it's under which one. And you said it's a criminal matter. If it's criminal,
Sir,
there's someone's been hurt. So if there's someone's been hurt, I have the right to cross-examine.
I have answered your question legally, and you keep trying to give me limited illegal choices, and I'm not going to do that.
Under the Sixth Amendment, I have the right to know. Under the Sixth Amendment, I have the right to know what jury I'm going to be tried against, and you have the duty to tell me. I don't think you're going to be violating your oath to office if you did that.
I've answered those questions, sir. We need to move on. I've made it clear to you, it's a couple of hearings now that you're being tried in the District Court of Greenwood County, Kansas, under the laws of the state of Kansas. And we're not going to keep running in circles on this.
That is not.
You know this, and I know this, and I feel like you're just kind of.
No, what I'm asking, so the court the Constitution only grants the court under when it comes to criminal under two matters, and that's why I asked you: is it civil? Is it civil or is it criminal? What you said is criminal, so it's not civil, right?
Sir, you can reserve your right for appeal, but I have ruled. Now, what's your next question or your next point of view? And I need to have you back here. Bring your camera back so I can see you.
Your phone froze. I didn't hear what you said. Your phone froze. You froze.
I don't know if my phone froze or your deal.
My phone froze. You cut out for a second.
Okay, so do you want an attorney? I'll ask you that again.
Before I get to that, I still have to find out. I have the Sixth Amendment right to know. If I ask, I have the right to know. I'm not asking for legal advice. I'm asking for your legal intent.
Do you want a jury trial and do you want a lawyer? Those are the two things.
Before I get to that, I have to understand what jurisdiction I'm under so I can rightfully, know how to defend myself.
Okay, you don't like my ruling.
You don't. So are you telling me I have to get a lawyer to understand? For the record, you just have to get a lawyer to find out what I'm going to be tried against? Is that just some type of secret jurisdiction that I should know about?
Okay, sir. Here's the deal. I'm not going to play games with you. I understand the sovereign citizen position that you take.
I'm not claiming. I didn't say anything about sovereign anything, ma'am. I'm asking how the right to defend myself under my Sixth Amendment right to know. I have right to know which jurisdiction are you going to try me under, and you're telling me in order to ask me for a lawyer, and I'm like before I even go to trial, I like to know what jurisdiction I'm falling up under, and you're telling me how to find in order to find out I have to get a lawyer. So you're telling me for the record, the defendant has to get a lawyer because there's only only lawyers understand what jurisdiction or what I'm going to be tried under. So that's the only way I can know. Instead of you asking me, but you have the duty to tell me under the Sixth Amendment. Do you not?
Okay, now it's your turn to stop talking and my turn to talk. I have answered your questions. I've told you the jurisdiction. You don't like my answers, so you voice your objection for appeal and we move on. We're not going to keep playing this game, sir. Now, do you want a lawyer or do you not?
I should not need a lawyer for you to tell me. And when I'm asking you, like, because you saying it's not in the criminal matter, so there's a hurt party. So
Sir, quit repeating yourself.
if there's a hurt party, can you present the hurt party to me?
Is it not true that under the Sixth Amendment I have the right to face my accuser?
If you keep sitting here wanting to argue with the court, I may have to find you in contempt. Is that what you're trying to get me?
I'm not arguing about the court. I'm trying to understand.
I cannot educate you and train you.
I'm not asking for education.
If you want to sir, do you know there's a person that's going to try to type out this transcript? And if you keep talking over me, do you know what chaos you're going to cause for that transcriptionist? We have to take turns talking. I've answered your question repeatedly. Let's move on to the next question or the next point. You don't have any motions I can rule on because you don't have anything in the file. So are you going to hire an attorney, apply for court appointed, or continue on your waiver?
So if you're going to try one, is there someone that was hurt to make a criminal matter? I'd like to know who it was.
The defense would like to call the plaintiff, state of Wisconsin, to the stand.
Are you going to hire an attorney, apply for court appointed, or continue to waive your right and represent yourself? Keeping in mind, sir, if you waive your right to an attorney, you will be held to the same standards as a defendant with an attorney. You will be held to the same standards as the attorney. You need to know the same rules, procedures, and laws. So what are you going to do on the issue of attorney? Continue to...
I'm just simply asking you to identify which the code of the written law that you're asking to do. I'm just asking you to which code is that you're bringing against me as constitutional law. Because if that's a serious law...
Taking up time. Can you not understand what I'm saying?
You're asking me if I want a lawyer. If I want a lawyer, I'm not moving forward because I'm not understanding where we're still going under here. Where you're telling me like it's on the criminal matter. If it's on the criminal, if it makes a criminal matter, that means it has to be like some injured party. Where is injured party at?
I'm going to order that you appear at the courthouse. Where are you parked right now?
I'm in Texas.
You do know your trial is Wednesday and you have to physically be present in the courthouse. It is not a Zoom.
Before we get to trial, I'm trying to figure out the jurisdiction. You just haven't went over to what the jurisdiction is.
Well, if you don't want to submit to the Kansas jurisdiction for your live trial on Wednesday, I can get you a warrant and you can be brought before the court.
Yes, I'm appearing in person right now. I'm doing my duty to appear, but you're not telling me.
We're not having a Zoom jury trial.
They're not telling me. You're not telling me you're not even telling me what the nature of the cause. You're not even telling me if it's common law. If it's common law, then you telling me that it's a criminal. If it's criminal, then there should be an injured party. I'm asking, where's the injured party? Can you bring the injured party forward?
I am going to, Missy, do you know where Miss Gillette went?
I don't, Judge. I'm assuming she lost signal.
Okay, well, we're going to be in recess till Miss Gillette gets her signal and gets back here because I'm not going to do anything without both parties present.
Sorry, Judge, my phone screwed up.
All right. We are back on the record in the 13th Judicial District, the District Court of Greenwood County, Kansas. Case 2023 TR 3000060. State of Kansas versus Isiaha S. Kirvin. Parties as before. Mr. Kirvin, you are set for jury trial.
But before we even get to trial, man, you still haven't answered my questions. But I still want to know the cause of nature of the matter.
Sir, I'm going to find you in contempt if you keep talking over me and being disrespectful.
Ma'am, you keep not even answering my question before we get to jury trial. You're just setting it.
You are now found in contempt. We will deal with your consequences Wednesday at the jury trial. This is set for jury trial. It's going to cost the taxpayers some money, so you better make sure you're ready to go to jury trial come Wednesday. You better make sure you're not in Texas. You better make sure you're sitting in the courtroom in Greenwood County, Kansas. That's Eureka, Kansas. Do you understand, sir? Any questions
Man,
about?
I don't know. I still have questions that was never answered.
I'm not your attorney, sir. I'm your
Yeah, I
judge.
know you're not returning. I'm asking you, Judge, what is your I'm asking for legal bias. I asked you what was your legal intent. You still haven't told me what your legal intent. I asked you what was the nature and cause of this
My
for this
legal intent is to conduct a jury trial on you Wednesday with the jury.
and what was the nature and cause of this whole before all that? What was
The
your nature and cause?
nature of this charge is that you were allegedly operating a motor vehicle without a license in Greenwood County, Kansas, November 9th, 2023. That's the nature. Now,
And you said
I'm
it's
not-
and I asked
we're not doing this.
I said a question. So when I asked you what jurisdiction the court, the Constitution grants the courts the two jurisdictions, which one is common law and the other one is maritime admiralty law. You said it's neither one of them.
Sir, you better go back to law school because I don't think you got the education you need to represent yourself. You either need to go back to law school or go to law school or get an attorney, sir, because you don't understand that which you're speaking of. So be ready to go. And if you're not here and ready to go, Wednesday, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Your Honor, I still have a question. You still haven't answered my question before you dismiss. I asked you which law.
Sir, I am not
under the Sixth Amendment, right? Under the Sixth Amendment, you have the
Okay, I'm gonna fine you. I'm only gonna fine you $50 for that first contempt.
$50 for what?
For continuing to ask the same questions over and over after.
I'm asking it. You never answered it. You never told me which.
I'm going to object. It's been asked and
jurisdiction
answered. It's been ruled on, Judge. We need to proceed to the next step. The state has taken the opportunity to glance through the case Mr. Patterson cited. It can be distinguished from this case because the ruling says the person has to be subjected to up to 12 months imprisonment. It is a DUI case where someone was convicted of a first-time DUI and they were subject to 12 months of prison time or jail time under the law. This is a Class B non-person misdemeanor that's 6 months or less. It must be greater than 6 months in order for the person to be subject to an automatic jury trial. Otherwise, lacking the request, it may be a trial to the bench under the case law. So therefore, the State v. Jones did not apply in this matter. He is facing no more than up to 6 months. So the automatic requirement for jury trial does not apply in this case to Mr. Kirvin. The request for jury trial would still need to be in writing for a matter that's up to 6 months. And therefore, I would ask that we don't waste a jury's time and have a bench trial on Wednesday and move forward in the case.
Mr. Kirvin, do you want a jury trial or a bench trial?
I want a jury trial.
Understand, I'm not going to prejudge, but I'll strike that. That wouldn't be appropriate. Ms. Gillette, can I continue this for further pretrial hearing with the live hearing, defendant present tomorrow at, pick me a time, give me about a half an hour tomorrow that you can fit me in.
I think our 11 o'clock went off. Let me.
I was going to say 11 o'clock is the perfect time for the state, Judge.
Well, but I've got to give Mr. Kirvin, I've got to give, sir, please quit interrupting. This is not a free-for-all. Ms. Gillette, we've got to give him time to drive up from Texas. Well, if he doesn't have a license, he can't drive. We have to give him time to find someone who can drive him up here or give him time for a plane ticket or however he wants to get here.
1 o'clock p.m. from 1 to 1:30. Then we can start the first appearance docket at 1:30.
Sounds good. Okay. Sir, this is going to be a live pretrial hearing tomorrow at 1 p.m. You must be present.
I cannot make it tomorrow, ma'am. I'm in Texas. That's what I was trying to tell you from before.
Well,
you told me you said Wednesday at first, and now you're saying tomorrow.
Well, your jury trial is Wednesday. Your pretrial is continued to 1 p.m. tomorrow. There is no law that says I have to give you a Zoom hearing. I try to do that as a courtesy.
I could do the Zoom, but I wasn't able to drive because like where I'm at, like I'm already like right here by San Antonio. It's like about a 14-hour drive. Like even if I like drove right now, I would still wouldn't make it to like or like probably 2, and I would like drive like this like 32, 14. That's like half the day driving.
Yeah, like.
Now I don't have nobody to drive like that. You know, man. Like that's why like.
If you don't have a license, you better not be driving because then that'll be another violation of the law. But that's my order. Be here at 1 o'clock tomorrow, live and in person. If you're not here, then most likely a warrant would issue for your arrest, and we'd go from there.
Well, I'm telling you, if I wouldn't make it, what's my other option? If I'm already in Texas, not to, that's hours away. You know, it's like about 4 different states.
Well, sir, you came to Kansas, you violated the laws allegedly in Kansas, and you've taken up a lot of the court and counsel's time. So,
well, I was told the officer said he told me I can take care of it from Texas. I will have to come back to Kansas when I got the rest of the ticket.
I have always told you that the trial would be live. Don't be pulling that on me.
No, not you. I'm talking to the officer when I got the ticket when I first got it. I let him know like I was just coming through Kansas. Like you don't live here. He said normally it's stupid do video and stuff because it's like different state.
Normally it is, but I'm ordering that you be here in person tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And anything further, Miss Gillette?
Nothing at this time.
Hold on, my phone cut out. Hold on. So.
Mr. Kirvin, any motions you want to take up tomorrow at the pretrial, you better have them filed by 5 o'clock tonight with copies served on the prosecutor, or I'm not going to entertain them tomorrow. You've had a long time to get those on file and you haven't done it. And I'm through with repeating myself over and over. So at this time, you owe the court $50 for contempt. We'll address that tomorrow as well. Okay, we'll begin recess.
Thank you,
Judge. Before we go, when you said like how to file the motions and everything, did you receive my special appearance motion or anything like that?
Nope. No, sir.
You hadn't received it from last time?
Nope.
I filed that before.
No, sir. I don't know what you're doing with them, but we're not getting them here.
I was told that you had received them through email, or I sent the email to a few times. Not like that was the only way.
If you can't figure out how to do it on your own, then you need an attorney. And I have told you repeatedly that if you cannot afford an attorney, you can apply, and I will appoint one.
They told me they had received them before. That's why I was understanding. Like now you say you never received them, but you say you received them before, like the first time we appeared, and then I actually received them. I haven't called.
Just because you keep repeating something doesn't mean you're going to get a different result.
No, I haven't repeated. I'm asking like they never received it, but they told me they did. That's just
you keep saying the things over and over, thinking like you're going to get a different result, and the answer is going to be the same every time.
Okay. You have a good day, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
The following day,
Mr. Kirvin did appear the following day in person. He entered a no contest plea to the charge of driving without a license. Mr. Kirvin paid a $100 fine. In addition, Mr. Kirvin was fined $50 for the contempt charge and assessed a court cost of $108. While we are disappointed that he did not receive a jail sentence for the contempt, there is still hope. Unsurprisingly, he drove himself to court. And even more unsurprisingly, he was cited for driving without a license. Mr. Kirvin's arraignment was scheduled in front of Judge Lee on February 28th, but Mr. Kirvin failed to appear. We will continue to follow the case and bring you the latest hearings as they occur.